It's always great to see Hillary Clinton absolutely destroy the MAGA Republicans, but in particular Donald Trump, because she's just so good at it. She's so incredibly smart, so incredibly inspiring, and she's been doing it for such a long time. She sounded the alarms about Donald Trump in 2016, and she continues to do so. And as the saying goes, Hillary Clinton was right about everything. Every projection she made about Donald Trump, every claim she made about what Trump wanted to do in the Oval Office, she was right about. And she's been vindicated after many people called her out for it, saying she's being hyperbolic, but she wasn't. She was right about Donald Trump, and she continues to be right about Donald Trump. So it's always just great to see Hillary Clinton continuing that work. So I'm happy to report that we have a brand new Hillary Clinton clip today for you guys. She was recently on the Jimmy Fallon show, and Fallon asked her, what is your response to voters who are unhappy with the options in 2024? They don't like Biden or Trump. And her answer is fantastic. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute here. And then later in the video, we're going to take a look at some data that shows that I think the American people are taking her advice. So here's Hillary Clinton's answer, and I think it's fantastic.
But it's Biden versus Trump.
Yes,
we know that.
It is. It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? And
good.
You know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah, okay.
I mean...
Okay, interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But we have to go through the election, and hopefully people will realize what's at stake, because it's an existential question. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have. And people who blow that off are not paying attention, because it's not like Trump, his enablers, his empowerers, his allies are not telling us what they want to do. I mean, they're pretty clear about what kind of country they want.
Yeah.
So.
Get out there and vote.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton with some facts, some much needed truth in the political world right now. And look, the election is still 8 months away. It's still pretty far out, and hearts can change from now until then, and they will. But you just hear it all the time. People saying that they are unhappy with the options in 2024, saying that Joe Biden and Trump are equally as bad, and kind of putting them on an equal playing field. And that's just absurd. As Hillary Clinton just talked about, that is crazy. Because look, we both know that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are not young men. They are old. They are not playing wide receiver in the NFL right now. We know that. But the choice is between Joe Biden, a good person, a good leader, effective, gets stuff done, who invests in infrastructure, fighting climate change, lowering healthcare costs, expanding healthcare for veterans, bringing manufacturing back to the United States, or on the other side, we have Mango Mussolini, a.k.a. Donald Trump, who is facing 91 felony charges. He's a proven sexual abuser via the E. Jean Carroll case in New York City. He's also a proven fraudster in New York City, committing decades of business fraud. They are not the same. They are not equally as bad. Joe Biden is significantly better than Donald Trump in every single metric. And I also think Hillary Clinton made an important point, some harsh truth for some people who are on the fence. It's like, get over it. I understand that Joe Biden is not your first choice, or maybe even in your top 5 or your top 10. But the choice is between someone who cares about democracy, Joe Biden, and someone who doesn't. Someone who cares about the rule of law and someone who doesn't. Someone who cares about the people and cares about the country and someone who doesn't. And I think at that point, when you have all of these things that are on the line, you have to put aside your personal wants and desires for a political candidate and look at the greater scheme of things and how a second Trump term would greatly impact all of our lives and the country for decades to come. Like, look, I don't think anybody, including myself, will ever ask anybody to 100% agree with us on Joe Biden. I will never ask you to love Joe Biden. I won't ask you to like him. I won't even ask you to enjoy voting for him. But when this much is on the line, the country, our way of life, our democracy is on the line, I will ask you to put the country first over your own personal wants in a political candidate. And also, as Hillary Clinton said, this shouldn't even be a conversation. we shouldn't even be talking about this. The choice is so clear. There shouldn't need to be a conversation in 2024. There shouldn't have needed to be a conversation in 2020. And there should not have needed to be a conversation in 2016 about the choice for president. It is so obviously Joe Biden that even if you're like a moderate Republican, conservative, independent, whatever, and you disagree with Joe Biden on the policy, even those folks, I believe, can see that Joe Biden at least cares about the country. Donald Trump cares about himself and his family and whether he'll be sitting in jail for the rest of his life. But as I mentioned earlier, the data is certainly suggesting that some Americans are taking the advice of Hillary Clinton. And we're seeing a swing right now in the polling, a momentum shift for Joe Biden, which is fabulous. I think many of us have been waiting for this moment, and maybe we're getting it right now. We'll have to wait and see. But we have some encouraging numbers from a recent poll. So as you can see on your screen right now, this is a poll summed up by Twitter user Chris Jackson. It's a morning consult poll, and it's 3 different ones that they've done in the year 2024 over a variety of months. And the first one started in January 21st, 2024. 45% of people responded saying that they would vote for Donald Trump, whereas only 40% of people said that they would vote for Joe Biden. So obviously those numbers are not ideal, but still a ways away from the election. A lot of things change. And then they did another poll on March 17th, finding a different result, that they were tied, that Joe Biden was receiving 43% of the vote, and Donald Trump was also receiving 43% of the vote. So from January 21st to March 17th, a lot happened between then. Joe Biden gained 3 points and Donald Trump went down 2 points. But now finally, on March 31st, recently, a poll, they found that 44% of respondents would vote for Joe Biden, whereas only 42% would vote for Donald Trump. That is a 7-point swing towards President Biden. Now, the independents are still Trump plus 10, but they're also moving toward Biden more so. And it seems like this is happening across polling right now, that more and more people are saying, look, the option is between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. A good guy versus an insurrectionist. Obviously, they're going to pick the good guy, as most logical Americans would. But we're seeing this swing toward Joe Biden in a pretty big way. So it almost feels like people are taking this advice of like, yeah, we got to pick somebody. There are 2 options. The third-party candidates are never going to win. There are 2 options, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and Joe Biden is the obvious choice. Now, of course, polling is all over the place. They consistently underestimate the Democrats and Joe Biden, so they're not something to be fully relied on, but you'd rather be leading than losing. And also, one more piece of polling data I want to talk about, kind of showing the shift, is The Economist. For many months, Donald Trump was leading Joe Biden in the Economist polling average, as you can see on your screen right now. But it's now tied. It's now tied. At one point, Donald Trump was leading by 3 in the polling average. Now they are tied. This bounce back for Joe Biden is real. It's happening, and we can all see it. The other day, Joe Biden was leading in the Economist average, but some newer polls got released, kind of evening it out. But there you have it. I mean, it really seems like a lot of Americans are coming around on the bend, realizing that the choice is going to be between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That is what we are faced with in 2024, and it's up to us to defend America, to defend our democracy, and make that choice, and make the right choice. So yeah, it's just always great to see Hillary Clinton continuing to slam Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. I'm always a fan of her and everything she has to say. And I look forward to her being more involved in the campaign in 2024, as has been reported by different journalists who have sources inside the Biden campaign. She needs to be out there. Her voice is incredibly valuable. So anyway, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It goes such a long way. Of course, also leave a like on the video. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Of course, share the video with friends, family, and loved ones, whoever you think needs to see it. And as always, as I say at the end of these videos, if we fight hard, we continue to work hard, we do what's right, we'll get what we want in 2024 and beat Donald Trump.